Welcome to Creativism, the show for creatives, filmmakers, Christians, and productivity nerds. I'm your host, Josh the Creative. So this episode is about taking baby steps. Let's start huge. How often do we get overwhelmed by a large task or massive goal? We have this goal of reaching 10 million subscribers or making $1 million a year, or being the biggest film director ever, or just simply being the best at what you do. And we feel like we can never realistically achieve that goal because there's this gap between where we are and where we want to be. Because of that huge gap, we then back off saying, I can't achieve that. It's way too far off. That is a far-fetched idea. How many times have you ever had an idea and somebody told you that was impossible, or somebody said that's too fantastical of an idea for it to work, or for you to succeed in that? And just as a side note, that's why we got to be careful with who we speak our ideas to. You got to be careful with who's around, who's in your circle, because you may have some people who aren't going to feed into your idea. They're going to shut that down. And that's a whole other topic that I may or may not talk about. But I do hope that you understand who you're around does matter. But anyway, so I've had that feeling, that sort of overwhelming feeling, when looking at big budget movies. I would watch this movie. I'm watching it, enjoying it, and analyzing it. Like, I'm doing so many things watching a movie at the same time. And I would think I could never direct something like that. It's too huge. I don't have the skills and knowledge. Not a great storyteller. I can't tell stories visually like Zack Snyder or Christopher Nolan, who's my favorite director of all time, by the way. I'm not good at that yet. And that's the key difference between here and there. That's the through line from in that gap. Yet. That idea is impossible. It can't be done yet. You can't reach that amount of followers yet. Man, that one word carries so much meaning. So I'm going to look at the slight edge. Hold on. Okay, so quoting the slight edge, quote, "Mastery is not some vaunted, lofty place that only the elite few ever inhabit. The pursuit of any aim, goal, or dream, whether personal, professional, spiritual, in any area, is a slight edge journey of continuous improvement, learning, and refinement. But mastery is not an exalted state that lies at the end of the path. It is a state of mind that lies at the very beginning. Mastery is in the act of setting your foot on the path, not in reaching its end." So sometimes we need to master certain skills for us to achieve that goal that's way far off. But like in the book it says, mastery isn't the end of that journey or skill set. It's the everyday grind to get there. It is a continual effort. It is the progress that leads into eventuality, that eventually leads to that goal, to directing a $10 million movie. If I said that right now, I'm going to go direct a $10 million movie tomorrow, good luck. Or if I think there's no way I could ever direct a $10 million movie, I haven't directed a $1,000 movie, well, that's where I spend the time mastering, honing my craft, doing projects, and slowly build up eventually to a $10 million budget movie. So I'm not sure if you ever heard of this, but So when it comes to mastering a skill, being a very skilled, very experienced individual at this thing, music, painting, whatever it is, it takes about 10,000 hours to put into that skill to get to a level of mastery, to get to a professional. Now, 10,000 hours is a lot. So if I just said, hey, put in 10,000 hours into this project and you'll be good, or into this venture, into this hobby, you're gonna be like, nope. But you have to look at it on a small scale. And this is kind of reverse engineering, applying that goal tree that I'll talk about later. I feel like I shouldn't be talking about it now without actually talking about it. But so starting small scale, 10,000 hours, that's only 4.5 hours a day, 365 days a year for 6 years. That's mastery. So, and one of the most important things in those set of numbers, first is 6 years. So that right there should say, you may not be able to master this in a year. You can't just crunch down in a year and achieve that. I can't crunch down in 2 years to be able to make a $10 million movie. Or be able to write a good book or tell a good story. But 6 years, that is a long time to put some effort to build up into that goal. If you think about it, like a YouTube channel that you followed, most of the time, those people who have, and I'm not going to talk about the ones who like blew up, like they had like a viral video and they got a whole bunch of subscribers. That's his own, like those are like unicorns. We can't look towards unicorns for a realistic approach. We've looked towards people who have grinded. Is grinded a word for the actual like grinding, hustling? I don't know. But there's a YouTuber, MKBHD, if I'm saying it correctly, Marcus Brown. If you watch anything to do with like phones or some camera work, maybe even cars, you've probably seen his videos. He gets millions of subscribers every video he puts out. But if you go to his page and look at his channel from the beginning, you'll see where he started. He didn't start off with millions of subscribers. He didn't start off with the quality of camera work that he has and the whole crew that he has filming and editing all this stuff. Like his stuff looks really polished. His presentations look nice. It feels nice to watch his stuff. And I think that's why he's so successful right now. He's got this sort of empire of just quality, but it was not always there. If he looked at it, and that took, if I'm not mistaken, that took over 5 years at least, and probably then some. Like I saw one of his first videos. He like a kid, like a 12-year-old. So he's been doing this for a long time. He's been putting in the hours over and over and over again, week after week, month after month, year after year, to eventually get to where he is now. But he had to start small. He had to put those 10,000 plus hours. So when we're facing that gap, when we're at ground zero and we're looking at way over here, this big goal, to get there, we have to at least take the first step. We have to take baby steps. So now I'm going to look into the Millionaire Success Habits book again. So there's a section that he has about taking first steps, and he actually, so Graziosi has a practice of assessing the first 90 days of a project or goal. And this is how we can chunk our to-do list, our goal into biteable sizes. So he says to pretend it's 90 days into the future, and it was the best 90 days of your entire life. What does that look like? So who do you say yes to? Who do you say no to? What actions did you take to get you to your next level? Talks about some of the things we have to actually assess. So what specifically happened during the past 90 days? What has changed in your business, your relationships, or your community? What success habits have you introduced into your life? What habits did you replace that weren't serving you well? This is some of the stuff that I haven't talked about, some that I have. So assessing things we talked about in this series, in the first 90 days of your new trajectory, what things have you already begun to replace? What limiting beliefs have you already changed and altered? What feelings of discouragement have you already spoke against? So this method, as he describes it, it's about taking a sprint, doing some tasks, some things to give you like a jump start to your journey, breaking it down and seeing what you can do today that will get the wheels turning. And I find that very interesting. I always see tackling a project with starting off small, and I actually have like a set of tasks that'll be like my immediate next steps. So for a film that I'm working on that I hope to start filming next year, I've worked my way backwards to think, okay, what do I need to do right now to get that going? Well, I need to do some storyboarding. I need to get like a mood board so I can get a feel of the vibe of the film. I need to practice some of these cinematography techniques. Those are things that I can be doing the first 90 days. I'm planning on working with techniques that I've never done before. So in order for me to feel comfortable with it on set, months from now, I'm going to spend that time in this first chunk while I'm laying low to hone that craft. And that's going to energize me. That's going to kickstart the flow. It's going to get that production flow and kickstart that creative flow for me, because I'll have worked on something that I had time to fail and perfect and tweak, and I'm going to be able to see an end result that says, oh, I can succeed. I can do this. And that's going to help reinforce, motivate me to move forward with the rest of the production. When we're looking at these big goals, we can't get overwhelmed because they're impossible. They're not feasible yet. The key word is yet. Now we have to figure out what are our first few steps to take. We have to reverse engineer, starting from the top, working our way backward to figure out what we can do right now. What are our immediate next steps to get us eventually to there? So next episode, I'm going to talk about, this is going to be the sort of finishing up of this series. Now we understand that we can take baby steps. We're going to apply that to what I've been calling the goal tree. And I'm not sure if you can really hear it. GOAL, goal, the goal tree. We're going to, it's a method of breaking down your goals and reverse engineering. We're going to really see how that works. I've actually been working on doing that for myself. And it's, I'm still perfecting it. This is kind of a new way of setting my goals up, but we'll talk about it more next episode. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please share this with your friends and be on the lookout for the next episode. They come out every Wednesday morning. You can follow me on Instagram at _Josh the Creative, and you can find my music on SoundCloud under Lewis Effect. I'll catch y'all next week. Deuces.